Hello you guys, Miss Steele here. I'm down here at the bottom and this thing is recording what I'm doing with my hands. So we are talking about space and we're talking about scale this week. So whenever we think about scale, we think about how big or small something is. And another thing with scale is you can manipulate it, that if you saw a picture of me, you'd be like, that's a normal sized person. But if you saw a picture of me next to a shoe that was the same size as me, your brain would wonder whether I was tiny or the shoe was big. And then whenever we're discussing space, we're looking at how far away or how close something is to us. And so we're going to explore that and we're going to make our own kind of like 3D triangle rooms using space and scale. I think you guys are really going to like it, and I think these are going to look really cool. So for this project, we need a piece of paper, pencil and erasers, definitely art tool basics. You want something to color in with. I'm going to be using colored pencils and markers for this, but you can use what you have to color in. And then we're going to need scissors and glue. So we have pencil eraser, some stuff to color in with, glue, scissors. My glue's dripping because my cat bit it, so we're going to have to fix that. And then I have a pencil sharpener as well. Sorry, I'm trying to clean up the glue. I'm going to move all of this stuff out of the way. And our first step is going to be folding our paper and cutting it so we can make our triangle room. So we want to start with a square piece of paper, and this piece of paper, unfortunately, is not square. So to make your piece of paper square, which I'm probably going to cut you guys square paper, so if you pick up the art packet, you don't have to worry about this, but just in case, what you want to do is take one of your corners and fold it until you hit the other piece of paper, and you want these lines right here to match up like that. So we have it folded in half, but in a triangle shape. And now what I can do is I can cut off this excess right here because we do not need it. So now I'm going to set this aside because I can use this later. And I'm going to fold this one more time. So we have our square piece of paper. And then we brought two corners together across from each other to make this triangle shape. And now I'm going to fold it one more time across from each other to make another triangle shape. So we folded it twice. So I'm going to show you guys that again. So for this, you want to fold it in half, but you don't want to fold it in half side to side. You want the opposite corners to touch. So that's why I folded it this way. And then you want the corners to touch, and that's why I folded it this way. So now we're going to unfold it, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out one of these triangles because I want to make this to where I can turn it into kind of like a pyramid after. So it doesn't matter which one you cut out, but you want to cut one of them out. Like that. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to fold these flaps in. And then at the end, we're going to bring these corners together, and it's going to give us a 3D room. So now whenever we're talking about space and we're talking about scale, I want to turn this into a room. So my bottom piece that's across from where we cut out, this is going to be the floor of my room. So everything I draw on my floor, I want it to be flat. I want it to be like I'm looking down at it, because this is going to end up being our floor and we're going to view it and it's going to be flat. And then these two sides that are next to the open area, these are our walls. So everything you draw on your walls, you want it to look like it is how we would normally draw something, like we're looking directly at it. But for our floor, we want to make it to where it looks like we're looking down at it. So everything makes sense. So I'm going to start drawing some things in. You guys can definitely do the same things I do, or you can change it if you would like to for your own room. But I think since these are my two walls, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw in some windows lightly, because I might want to draw some stuff in front of it. And then you can start drawing in and decorating this room however you want to draw it in or decorate it. I think I'm going to do a window right here. And then even though I'm going to draw two lines to help guide me too, because I want everything for right here to be drawn along with this line. And the same thing for over here. I think I'm going to draw a door right here. And I'm thinking about scale too, so I'm thinking about how big a door would be compared to like how big I want my window to be, because we don't want to have a teeny tiny door and then everything else be like massive. I think next to my door, I might draw, maybe we'll have like a coat rack. So then I could draw however I want my coat rack to look like. This room's kind of up to you. You could add whatever you want to it. I think over here by my window, I want to draw a shelf with some plants. So that's what I'm going to do. You could add in couches or chairs. Maybe I'm going to start to draw what would be like a sitting chair right here. But it's almost like it's like out of frame. And again, I'm thinking about like how big did I make my door? Because a door is tall, so you don't want your couch to be crazy tall, bigger than your door. I'm going to finish out my window. And then, like I said, I'm going to draw like some house plants, maybe on some planters. So I'm going to draw these house plants right here and maybe a few other things around my room like you would normally draw things. And then I'm going to come together and show you guys how I'm going to draw things to make it look like I am looking down at it. Okay, so I finished my drawing, and if you can see it's pretty light. I did a couch, and I did like mountains outside of the windows, some plants. I did an art poster. You guys could draw whatever kind of posters or whatever you would want really in this space for your room. If you wanted to make it a kitchen or a bedroom. I made mine just like a living room. Then I have a door, and I have a little coat rack, and then I added in a little bookshelf. But again, you guys could add in a bunch of windows, a bunch of doors. You could just make it one big bookshelf or an art studio. How you want to draw these two sides are up to you. But you're going to draw it fairly normal. But you also want to think about how big or how small something is, because we're talking about space. So if my door is this big, you know, I shouldn't have anything else that's bigger than my door, because that's what I walk in from. So now for this bottom area, this is kind of the harder, I will say. It just takes more of your brain power, because you want to think about drawing like you're looking straight down at something, because these are going to become our walls when we put it together. So we want this to be our floor. So what I like to do for this area is I like to draw a rug. So for my rug, I just kind of follow along where I want it to be. And maybe it's like square corner with the room. Maybe I'll add like little tassels on or something like that. I'm sorry if you can hear the train right now. I live by a train station. Also, what I like to draw is a little coffee table. So maybe I'll draw like a round little table. And then we can think about what we want to put on the table. Maybe there's some like cups. We would be looking straight down at it, so we wouldn't really be able to see it. And maybe there's a little tray. And maybe on the little tray we have like some different like candles. We can draw a little wick on the inside. And so for this, we're thinking about how we look directly down at something. Maybe I can draw in a cat. So I would draw the head, and then I would draw the body. And then I'm going to put his paws underneath him like he's all loafed up, because we're looking straight down at him. So to draw my cat, I drew a circle, and then a round oval for the body, and then I just kind of added in curved lines around. And then his ears would actually be kind of like out towards us, like this, because we're looking at the back of his head. And then his nose would be at the front. His eyes would be up here too. And then I added on his tail. You guys could add whatever you want. You just want to think about things that you can look kind of directly down at. That's why I think a rug and drawing an animal is a pretty easy one. Adding in a little table is pretty easy as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add in some more details and get this all outlined, and then I will show you guys after I have it all outlined, and then we're going to get it colored in. And then our last step is going to be connecting these two edges so we can make our triangle room. Everything is outlined now. You can see I did this for my one side, this for my other side, and then this on bottom. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my colored pencils and get them all colored in, and then we're going to put it together and we will be done. So I'm going to get this all colored in, and then I'll show you guys how we can get these walls to stay together to finish out our triangle rooms using space and scale. Alright, so I have this all colored in. It's super bright in my room, so it's almost hard to tell. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some leftover paper. It could either be from what you cut out, or if you have other paper, you could use it. I think I'm going to use this scrap piece of paper. And then I'm going to fold it in half, pressing down on it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue on it, and then I'm going to glue it to the back side so we can put our triangle together. And there's going to be some hanging over, and I'm just going to cut off the excess. So I have it, and I folded it in half, made for sure it's nice and even. Now I'm going to take my glue that my cat has chewed up, and I am going to glue these two sides. I'm going to glue this side. Wiping off some extra glue. Now I'm going to put this together, and if you have tape, you could always just tape it. That is another option. So making for sure it's standing up kind of how I want it to be. So then I can take this behind and get it folded right on the edge like that to get them sticking. And then I can cut off this extra that I don't need here at the top. Oop. Dropping it. Trying to not get all sticky from the glue. And then what I can do is, now that I have that kind of attached onto the back there, I'm just going to fold down the edges and just kind of hold for a second and pinch down. Because unfortunately, glue doesn't work like magic. Then I'm going to turn it to its other side and fold it down. If I have any extra glue coming out, I'll try to get it. Get all these other pieces out of the way. And then that is it. That's kind of like our triangle room. I'm trying to hold it up so you guys can see it. I'm going to hold it up here at the bottom so you guys can see. And you guys can see in there. So we drew everything facing down, so whenever we look at it, it makes sense, and then we have all of our stuff on our sides. I'm excited to see how your guys' projects come out and what you decide to add into your room, and I will see you guys all next time. Have a wonderful rest of your morning, your evening, your afternoon.